Ben & Jerry stands with our friends at the NAACP and Colour of Change, the ADL and all those calling for Facebook to take stronger action to stop its platforms from being used to divide our nation, suppress voters, foment and fan the flames of racism and violence, and undermine our democracy.
Well, for more on the boycott, let's go to Larry Ivory, chairman of the National Black Chamber of Commerce. He joins us from Peoria in the US state of Illinois. Welcome back to Money Talks, Larry. Now, groups such as the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Coloured People, say that Facebook amplifies white supremacists and allows posts that incite violence and contain political propaganda and misinformation. Do you support this move to boycott Facebook?
Yeah, we do. I think that we're in a very critical time in the United States, and anytime we're spewing hate messages doesn't help the country. But I'm no constitutional lawyer. I think it's important to make sure that we don't trample on the First Amendment and freedom of speech at the same time. So I think Facebook has a responsibility to be a good corporate citizen, to help reduce the hate that exists within our country, and would only be concerned about how it may impact the First Amendment and people's freedom of speech and freedom of expression.
Yes, now Ben & Jerry's has joined a growing list of companies in the US who have decided to boycott advertising on platforms such as Facebook. Now, it comes as much of the corporate world in the United States faces growing pressure to address the issue of racism in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movement. Are you happy with the way US businesses have responded to that issue?
I would say that we see some positive movement. If you say, are we happy from a national perspective, I can tell you that we're not satisfied by any stretch of the matter. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still a lack of diversity on corporate boards. There's still a significant number of African Americans who don't have an opportunity to participate in terms of opportunities.
Now, the Black Lives Matter movement has really highlighted that lack of diversity, as you say. Apparently, only 4 African Americans are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, which frankly is disgraceful. If there was more representation of African Americans and other minorities in the corporate world, do you believe that perhaps companies such as Facebook would be more sensitive to issues of racism?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. When you don't have diversity of thought and people of color participating in this process, you simply have white males who have been comfortable doing what they've done for all their lives. And I think that's a recipe for lack of change, in my opinion. I think if corporate America is to be true and really wants to help this society be a better society, then I think we definitely have to understand that there's a role that people can play, and that's a role that corporate America can play. If we go back and take a look at history, corporate America benefited a great deal from what we call vagrancy laws going back many years ago, right after slavery. They got a lot of free labor from people who were just walking down the street, and they used those people to help corporations at a small fee, and they locked up a lot of African Americans because of lack of sensitivity. So corporate America has benefited from racism and has a debt to society to pay, quite frankly.
Okay, Larry Ivory, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you again for joining us on the program. We appreciate it.